Hello and welcome to this week's Gems of War Guild Event Planner. I am Guardian Namek, Guild Leader of Loot and Plunder. This week's focus is the Doom Tower event, and we are using brown troops from all across the kingdoms. And after running some numbers, here are some units and teams you want to use. This is the team I plan on using for the week, as I can use Salamandria. I'm once again using Salamandria, then also use the Fire Spirit and the Immortal Empyrean, along with the Doom weapon that we are required to use. As it is requiring brown units this week, we have a large array of options, and here are some noteworthy ones. The Guardians of the week are Defiance and Honor. Defiance is mostly good with an Urska team, as they can give 4 to all skills to Urska, and the damage is boosted by Enrage allies, which is mostly just Urska. Overall, not too useful, but if you have them traded out and you want to do an Urska team that gives a lot of bonus turns, not a bad option. And then we have the older version of Honor. Good old 15 gems, mix the brown in color, and give 29 armor to all other allies. Boosted by stunned enemies for a small amount. It's not that great. It's okay back in the day with the 10 extra points in PvP, but overall, it just isn't doing much. But it is a Guardian, and Doom Weeks are about the only time we actually get to use the Guardian. Now, the top 5 or 4, because I forgot to actually list many of them, for brown units are going to be Salamandria. As per usual, she is just really dang effective. Combination of really good damage, that's true damage, and exploding the board. It's just a really good combination to be doing. And then we have Ulfheringen, which is another wonderful unit, as they get to do true damage to multiple enemies and get to do even more damage if they're already injured. They also get a summon, but the summon's not too important. But they get to do a lot of good true damage. Then we have the Raksha Freeblood, as they are incredibly useful. They get to do some damage, that's really not too important. The big thing is that they explode a gem boosted by their gold, and they can easily explode nearly 20 gems, very easily exploding the entire board, which makes it really easy to get some good mana generation. And then we also have King Heliodor, as he gets to do some true damage to an enemy, boosted by allies, especially brown, and then create some elemental stars for some good mana generation. So he is quite good in that role. Good damage, good mana, nice combination of everything. Now, if you're wanting to find some teams that are actually usable this time around, let's get right into it. We are stationed in Khaziel this week, so if you are wanting to use the glory of the dwarves to try and do this week's Doom Tower, this is a decent team I've been able to make up. The Dwarven Miner will be your main mana generation. While it is like 27 gems, it's going to be closer to 12 or 13, as there's only going to be so many gems of that color on the board. But they are still very reliable mana generators, because they have a low mana cost and a high amount of destruction. And that's ignoring any of the chain effects that may happen. Then you'll want to be using King Highforge and or Lady Ironbeard, as they do some good damage. King Highforge gets to summon a random dwarf, where Lady Ironbeard just gets to do a good chunk of damage and triple it if the enemy's armor is weaker. And if you get her with some good armor, that's going to be the case for at least a good while. Now, if you are going to go for more mana generation and less damage, the Paragon statue can be switched out for Lady Ironbeard, as they are conflicting mana. As they get to destroy a 5/5, good chunk of mana there, and then give all allies some armor. It works very well with Lady Ironbeard, except for Lady Ironbeard has the same mana, so it makes it a little difficult to actually utilize the Paragon statue with Lady Ironbeard. The minecart that we got this week is also very good. They get to generate a lot of brown gems, and if you don't have High King Forge or King High Forge, you can easily use the minecart, maybe even to better effect than having King High Forge. Either way, the minecart is very useful this time around. It was surprising to see the Glory unit be like, ooh, this is actually really good. But because of the fact that it is red and brown, I don't plan on putting it in this team. You can also be utilizing the excavator, as they get to create red gems by destroying a column, and then the red gems are boosted by brown gems destroyed. And while I don't plan on using it, they could easily switch in for the Dwarven Miner, and I use them quite often for the bounty events, as they are a bounty hunter. Now, if you're wanting to just kind of do Khaziel units in general and not be a Dwarven army, some of the good units to be using are going to be Eperanizera, the Kobold, as they get to give 50 life, for me at least, to all allies, themselves included, summon a random Kobold so they get a new meat shield, and either gain an extra turn or summon another one. And then they also, more importantly, give 2 life and magic to all allies when matching 4 and 5 gems, which is very nice, as it means they'll be doing more magic damage. And the team I plan on using, at least for this part, is the Kobold and the Living Quartz, as the Kobold deals some damage, which will eventually get boosted up, and boosted by skulls, decent amount, and then they gain an extra turn, or they create 7 skulls, which allows them to punch. The Living Quartz gets to create 2 skulls, boosted by brown allies and enemies. Well, you can at least guarantee you'll have 4 brown allies, so that's a nice 10 skulls. And there's 6 colors. There's going to be at least 8 colors on the field, so you can usually guess it'll be at least 1, maybe 2 brown enemies every time you fight. And so that can easily be 12 to 14 skulls, which is a lot of skull busting. And worst case scenario, you don't get any skull matches. Well, and your kobold gets chewed up. Oh no. Well, that's why you have Eperanizera, the Kobold Queen. I literally cannot say that name. Because she'll just summon a new kobold. Might not be the same one, but it'll still be a kobold that'll act as a great meat shield. You can also, if you don't have all these or want to do a different path, like more damage focus, less skull busting focus, you can use Gorgotha as a charger instead of the main kobold. Just like, I can explode the board. Because right now this team doesn't really have a mana generation side of it. Just skull busting side. Or Gorgotha in place of the kobold would allow for some more mana generation. A little less skull busting, but should be good overall. And then you can use a good old Lasher. They're nice, simple enemies. I hated them in many different D&D games. I have a little miniature of them. But they get to deal damage to 6 random enemies. And it's a good amount of damage. Like, it isn't amazing, but it's very solid. And so you could switch them out for some just good old-fashioned damage. And I will say, every time you get in 4 and 5 way with the Kobold Queen, that Lasher is going to get 6 more points of damage. So It's very effective. The only downside is the conflicting mana colors, but at the same time you don't need to use the Kobold Queen very often or their spellcast. As discussed before, this is the team I actually plan on using, and is potentially one of the best units to be using, or teams to be using. Salamandria, the Fire Spirit, and the Immortal Aperion. The Immortal Aperion would be much better if I actually had it leveled up, but I don't because I don't do PvP. I need to do PvP. But it's all built around burning gems. Salamandria explodes burning gems, deals a whole ton of true damage to the first few enemies, boosted by burning gems destroyed on 4 and 5 ways, or more ways. She creates burning gems. The Fire Spirit gets a convert color to burning gems, and also has a chance to convert a red to a burning gem. And if I had the Immortal Aperion leveled, I could have it create 2 burning gems at the start of each turn. Altogether means a lot of burning gems going out on the field, which means even more true damage from Salamandria. And then I'm here as a token going, hi, I have to hold this thing. It's my double point beacon. Also, if you don't have the Immortal or the Fire Spirit but do have Salamandria, or you have the Immortal but not Salamandria, you can also use the Flame Rhinax, as that also will give a few burning gems, just 3 of them. They do a little bit of damage. They're not really good units on their own, but if you need other sources to generate burning gems, that's your go-to. That will indeed generate some burning gems. Not too many though. Utilizing Ulfheringen as the main character, you get to do some good damage, and then the knight options are not very good when it comes to utilizing just brown or utilizing brown. But you can use the Iraka warrior, as they get to do true damage boosted by their enemy armor, which is wonderful because it scales well, and also is a bounty hunter. So if you have it mythiced out, it's a very effective unit to be using for bounty hunting as well. And then I'm going to be using the Nexus portal with this team for the very simple reason it creates 4 to 6 elemental stars, which is just wonderful. Like, that is a great amount of mana, and so it can easily charge itself back up. It can easily charge these 2 up. Also, looking me right in the face, you can also use the Jeweled Golem, as they get an exploded gem and create a bunch of wild cards, which also very good for mana. You can also use Shale, who's kind of the epic character you get at the end of the Nexus quest, as she gets to turn a single gem into a elemental star, which is good for precision, like I'm going to be getting a 4-way from this. And I hope this info was helpful for both starting and veteran players of Gems of War. If it was helpful to you, give that subscribe button a click, as I plan on doing these every Monday, both to help my guild and for fun. Until next week, have fun plundering.